What's up, guys? It's your boy Colton. This is another story time about a fight in school. Okay, so give me a second, guys. Shut up, lady. Okay. I literally hate it when I can't skip. You are cursed. Again, bro?
I can hear you. Jeez, are you the one I saw in my dream?
Alright. So, oh yeah, I forgot, this is not a regular stream. Alright, so this all begins in 2018. And, I was just coming to school one day. I think I was coming home from school. And there's usually, like, lots of people who walk home, because, like, all our houses are just, like, super close to each other. Here, give me a second. Let me actually turn on the options. Audio. I'll do it to 1. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Anyways, walking home from school. Everybody walks home from school because, like, all of our houses are really close together. And so I always go to my friend's house because, like, he has a trampoline at that one point. I'm gonna see one.
Are you okay though?
Sorry, people are walking in the room. Anyways, continue with the story. Walking home from school, go to my friend's house, jump on the trampoline all the time because, like, none of us had trampolines back then. And, like, because we always thought it was boring. And so me and him went to back. We saw this one kid just sitting there with a lighter. Because he has, like, tons of neighbors, and, like, there are only, like, fences and stuff, you know, that type of thing. And so we're just like, what in the world is he doing? And we see, like, a little, like, pack of cigarettes there, and we're like, oh no. And so we, like, say, hey, you know, what are you doing? He's like, mind your own business, bro. I'm like, bruh, chill. And so, me and him just like, yeah, whatever. And, we went back to jumping. But what we didn't know is, we didn't realize that was a pack of cigarettes. It was actually, I just got it. Oh crap, I forgot about those. Anyways, we didn't realize that there was, like, weed in it, in the cigarette. And so we went to school the next day. Or we came to school, whatever, doesn't matter. So we're just sitting there, and that kid's hair is, like, all messed up. It's like he's acting all goofy and stuff, like he's a retard. And we're just like, what the heck? And so lunch comes by, and so I'm sitting there eating my lunch peacefully, and guess who sits right next to me? That kid. Let's call him Who could we call this? I'm thinking about calling him, I don't know what I could actually call him. Everybody's walking in my room right now, so I'll be muted for a second. Back to story time. Okay. Yeah, like everybody's walking in my room. And so I'm sitting there. He sits right next to me. And so I'm like, yo, are you alright? He's like, oh, shut up, bro. I'm completely fine. And like the weirdest face. He looked at me with the weirdest face as well. And so I'm like, alright, this kid's on something. He answered me. And so I tell one of the teachers, they're like, stop messing around. Don't do that anymore. And I'm like, what did I do? I'm actually telling the truth. I think this kid is on something. And they're like, oh, whatever, shut up. Or they didn't say that. They were just saying, maybe he's just acting for fun and tries to make you laugh. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. After lunch, he just walks up to me. I'm reading a book, like neither listening to music or reading a book, but at this time I'm reading a book. I'm just sitting there. He literally rips the book out of my hand and tears one of the pages off. I'm like, bro, what the heck? You're like, that's too funny, bro. I love it when, I can't remember what he said, but he said, like, I love it when I tear books apart. And he's like, why mine? And I'm like, why mine, though? And he's like, because I don't care about you. And he's like, I'm like, okay, weird. So, and then that's when he gets up in my face, because I stand up to grab my book, and he gets up in my face, and he's like, what are you gonna do, huh? What are you gonna do? Dude, just chill, I'm trying to grab my book. And he was like, no, he ain't getting your book back. And he kicks it like across. Like, we had fields, because we had like a whole entire field, and then we had the playground, like, at the back of the school. And he kicks it like across one of these fields. Or he like throws it. I don't know really how to say it, but like he just kicks it and throws it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this really happening? He gets in my face again, even closer, to the point where I can feel his breath. His breath stinks. Oh no, not this. And I'm just like, oh, you're not gonna do anything to me, bro. Just stop. He's like, huh. And he takes a swing at me. The swing is so slow I can like dodge it. And then one of the teachers sees it and they're like, oh, they're just play fighting. And so I hit him as hard as I can. He gets on the floor and starts crying. One of the teachers come over. Like, what did you do to him? I'm like, I punched him. He tried to punch me. Sorry, I'm being quiet. Everybody keeps walking in my room and it's annoying. And so I'm just sitting there like, oh great, I guess you're sending me to the principal's office. And they're like, no, I'm gonna view the cameras. And I'm like, okay. And then so I'm just sitting there. We're looking at the cameras, and they looked at it and they actually found out that he actually hit first and then I hit back. Like, okay, we can handle this between you and him. We do not accept that in our school. And I'm like, okay. What else am I supposed to do? Let him hit me? And they're like, no, just run away and tell a teacher. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna run away and tell a teacher. And so from then on, that was like really it until like 2 days later. Now, 2 days later, one thing happened. It's very bad. I think it was like we got on a bus because we usually either walk or go on a bus, and I decided to go on a bus, and I guess he decided to as well. And so I'm just sitting there. He grabs my hat and literally throws it on the floor. And so, and my friends are sitting right next to me. Oh, I'm gonna die. And so they like look at him, like, dude, why'd you do that? And he pushed him a little. And so I'm like, all right, my friend's got me back right now. And so they did that, and then he got up in their faces, and we all double or triple teamed on him. However you would say it. Well, we got up in his face as well, all of us at once. And so we're sitting there like, hey, don't do that to our friend. So we're all just sitting there up in his face, and the bus driver yells at us, sit down! And we're like, okay, fine. And he's like, as he's passing me, he's like, little punk, I'm gonna get you after school. And I'm like, whatever, bro. And you know how like people like go at you, like kind of like flinch, but not flinch, they like nudge at you or something. And then he did that. And I'm like, what is that supposed to do? And he's like, you just wait. And so I'm sitting there. And then lunch came, and then recess came. And so at this point, he just randomly finds me. He ran up to me and tackled me to the ground. And I'm like, oh, that hurt so bad. So I get up and I knock him in his mouth. He doesn't start crying. He hits me back. We're just going at it, hitting him, hitting each other. And so I'm to the point where like, all right, I'm kind of done with this. And so like, I'm just sitting there like, oh bro, come on. Please just go out. And so I'm just sitting there like, oh, come on, just knock him out already, please. And he doesn't get knocked out. He knocked like 3 of my teeth out. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, that hurts so bad. And so I stood up. And finally, one of the teachers actually saw me. Or saw us doing it. And so I'm like, oh, finally. And they're like, hey, what's going on? And I found out that I had another bloody nose. Like 3 of my teeth are bleeding. Stuff. I was just sitting there. And then they didn't do anything about it. And then she walked away and we started punching each other again. And then eventually I knock him out. And we start punching each other again. So I'm like, oh boy, this is not gonna go good. So I finally knock him out again. Or did I already say I knocked him out? I can't remember. So I knocked him out. I think I did. I knocked him out like twice. That's a grenade. Alright. I knocked him out twice. And this boy got, like for 2 seconds I knocked him out. And he just stand up at my face. And he knocks me right in the mouth so hard. And it hurt so bad, like to the point, like I started tearing up. I knocked him twice. I hit him twice as hard. And alright, anyways, I knocked him twice as hard. And so he's finally like knocked out for a while. And so I got suspended on that day. I'm still to that day, I'm still kind of mad at that kid, because he like bullied me half the year, and I finally did up. So, from the suspension, they didn't really suspend me, they just made me go to this like little area, so where like bad kids go if they, or I either get suspended or I go to this little school thing. I have to sit there 8 hours a day. Just doing like what do you do when you see a stop sign? Those kind of things. And I'm sitting there like, it's a 3-day one suspension, I would say. And so I kept doing those things, and then finally it's over. And then I come back next day, I think, or yeah, I came back after the one other day. I came back. All right, so I basically had the 3-day suspension, and then I had 1 day off because like I was so tired of because my hand hurted half the time. So I'm just sitting there like, oh, I don't want to go to school today, and I pretended to be sick. So I grabbed a little lighter because they checked me. Took a lighter and lighted it up, and I put it next to the thermometer. Like, not to the point to where it would burn, but to the point where it's like hot. And then my guardian, who was watching me right then, because my parents were working at the time, looked at my temperature. He was like, oh no, you should stay from school. And I was like, yes, alright. And so I just played video games all day. And so the next day I come back to school, and he was like missing an eye. He was like all scarred up in his face. His body was all scarred up. I was like, dude, what happened? And he's like, my parents abused me. And I'm like, for what? For getting suspended because of you. And like, gotta be kidding me. And so from then on, we just became friends. And eventually his parents got to my parents, and then told all that stuff, what happened. Told them all that stuff. And I didn't get in trouble because like they were like, oh yeah, that's right of you to do. If somebody tries to punch you, you punch them. And then I get to their parents are saying everything, curse words. And then I finally say, well, I'm not the one who's doing drugs in your backyard. Teach your kid that more. And they're like just sitting there looking at me, and they say, what? I said your son was doing drugs in the backyard, and that's why he tried to punch me. And then parents look at their son and they're like, is that true? And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Next thing you know, they went home, abused him more, and then that was the end of it. He never came back to school. And I'm kind of worried about him and kind of mad. But thank you guys so much for attending the stream. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon, and don't forget to stay awesome. I just ended that really weirdly, but yeah, that was the end of the story. Again, thank you for watching the stream, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon.